Hi everybody! In this video, we're going to be going through a few examples of solving one-step, two-step, and multi-step equations. Now before we get into our actual examples, let me just give you a few reminders about equations. Equations have equal signs. So when we refer to each side of the equation, we're referring to the left side of the equal sign and the right side of the equal sign. The equations we'll be working with all have one variable. Our end goal is to isolate the variable so that in the end we'll have an answer where x is the only thing on the side of the equal sign, and we'll find a value for its answer. Now in order to do that, I like to say we have to undo the operations that are being done in the equation. Let's do this one as an example. We have 16 plus x equals negative 4. Now this is a positive 16 being added to the x, and our goal is to get x all by itself. So we need to get rid of this 16. We do this by subtracting 16 from both sides, meaning each side of the equal sign. The 16s on the left cancel, leaving us with just x equals, and then we calculate negative 4 minus 16, which leaves us with negative 20 as our answer. We'll use the same ideas in solving two-step equations. The only difference is that there are more steps needed to get your answer. Now let's look at what operations are happening in this equation. We have this negative 3 multiplied by x. We have an 8 being subtracted over here, equals 13. The first thing that we're going to do is make this negative 8, or this 8 being subtracted, we're going to make it cancel. Since it's being subtracted in our original equation, let's add it to both sides of the equation. That way, over here, it cancels, leaving us with negative 3x equals 13 plus 8, 21. All right? Now the operation, again, that's happening between this negative 3 and this x is multiplication. To undo multiplication, we do its opposite, which is division. So we're dividing both sides of the equation by negative 3. Because we did the opposite, they cancel, leaving us with just plain x equals negative 7. And that's it. Moving on to multi-step equations. These may look a little bit complicated, but we still use the same exact ideas. In this, we have 7 multiplied by the quantity x plus 1, all over 4 equals 2x. There's a couple ways that students might approach this problem. I would assume that a lot of students might be a little bit freaked out by this big fraction here. But I have to remind you that fractions are just big division problems. This fraction bar is really just a division. So let's get rid of this complicated fraction. Since the 4 is being divided over here, let's just make it cancel. To do that, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 4. That way, on the left side, they cancel because we did the opposite, leaving us with 7 times x plus 1 equals 2x times 4 is 8x. All right, looks a little bit better. As we know, when we see a number outside of parentheses, we're going to distribute. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 1 is 7. Okay. Now we may notice that we have a variable, this x, is on both the left side and the right side of the equation. As we said before, we want to isolate that variable. So we need to make it cancel on one of the sides of the equation. Let's go ahead, and since this 7x is positive, let's go ahead and subtract it from both sides. That way, over here on the left, it's going to cancel, leaving us with just 7 equals 8x minus 7x is just plain x, or 1x, and we have our answer. All right, great job!